This is NBC Connecticut News at 11.
We're following major breaking news this morning. New information on that explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven. We're live on the scene with team coverage. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Nathan. We start with that breaking news. 2 people are dead after an explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven. This is per a statement from the office of VA Secretary Robert Wilkie. NBC Connecticut's Kyle Jones is live with new information on other possible injuries and what exactly happened. Kyle, what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Kevin. We just got that statement in, and they have confirmed that 2 deaths were in a non-patient area. Neither of the victims were patients or patient care. None of that was affected here by that explosion. So here's what we do know. It started, we got reports in just before 9 a.m. this morning here. I'm going to step out of the way, and there's still an active scene behind me up here at the hospital. So we do know that the state police are here, and the FBI is assisting in that investigation. The FBI, we've been told, is not unusual because it is a federal property here. So there's a number of groups that are helping with this investigation. We do hope to get more information around 2 o'clock. So we do know that there is a scene up here, and there is, a lot of activity up just over our distance. So we're trying to learn more information. So again, we did get that information on the confirmed deaths. There were 2 here. Neither patient care was affected by that, and we're just waiting to get more. It's a bit of a difficult scene to know that 2 people were killed just up the hill here, Kevin. But we're waiting to get more information on what's going on here.
All right, Kyle Jones, thanks for that live report. Yes, a very fluid story at this point. This explosion happened, we're told, at 8:40 this morning. Our team coverage continues now with NBC Connecticut's Shannon Miller, also on the scene in West Haven. Shannon, what have you learned this morning?
Yeah, Kevin, we're hearing from the VA Secretary, more from him, Robert Wilkie, in a statement today saying neither of these victims were VA patients and the patient family's care was not effective. Emergency personnel, again, on scene here right now. He's saying today our prayers are with the victims of this explosion. So I want to give you a little bit of a layout of the land here. This is the front entrance of the building here. You can see that roundabout with the flags are the entryway of the VA hospital here. So just to the left of that, this is where law enforcement is focused right now, and first responders are focused right now. So what we're told by some calls that we have made this morning for folks who work here at the VA hospital is that these red brick buildings that you see, these are all maintenance facilities and maintenance buildings for the VA. Again, we were told that one of these buildings here is where this explosion happened earlier this morning. And again, we are hearing from folks who were here this morning saying that there have actually been not as many employees here at the VA hospital in these maintenance buildings because there's been a COVID outbreak here. So a lot of them were not here on the property as far as VA employees here who were working here this morning. But again, what you're seeing is first responders still on scene here assessing this scene. We do know that the governor will be here at the VA between 1 and 1:30 today with more on this development here, this explosion here happening at the West Haven VA hospital this morning. Again, we just got on scene here moments ago. We do know that there has been a noticeable uptick in traffic here. We know this is a very, very busy hospital, really on any given day. So a lot of the traffic around the area is being diverted right now. In fact, the other entrance that's just behind us, the first entrance we came to this morning, just stopped for a moment there to ask law enforcement exactly where we should go. And at that point, there was about a line of half a dozen or so cars that were already backed up. So we know how busy this hospital is really on any given day. You add an emergency situation to that scene, and of course there's going to be a backup here. Law enforcement is directing other patients that do need to come here to the VA hospital today exactly where they can go. Again, we just got here about a half an hour ago. We are expecting a news conference sometime later on this afternoon, exactly who was involved, who these victims are, and what they were doing here at the VA hospital earlier this morning. Kevin?
Shannon, thanks for that live report from West Haven. We have learned not only are 2 people dead from that explosion at 8:40 this morning, but another person is missing. We want to bring in now State Senator James Moroney, who represents West Haven. He's also the co-chair of the state's Veterans Affairs Committee. Senator Moroney, what can you tell us at this point?
Unfortunately, I don't think I can add much more than you've reported. It's tragically there was an explosion in one of the repair facilities, and there are unfortunately fatalities. We are fortunate that in West Haven in Connecticut, actually, we have one of the best VAs in the country, and they're very dedicated to serving our veterans. It's unfortunate this happens right after Veterans Day, a time when we are celebrating all of our veterans, but I can't really add much more, I don't think, than what you've reported.
Senator Maroney, we have reported that 2 people died in that explosion and 1 person is missing. Do you know anything else in the way of other potential injuries, what the scene was like, how quickly fire and rescue crews responded, some of those other details? Can you fill in any of those blanks?
No, all that I've heard is that unfortunately, and thanks to all of the first responders who are on the scene, apparently the fire is still burning too hot to confirm if there are any other fatalities. But we are grateful to those first responders who are there, and then also to all of the workers in the Veterans Hospital who do a tremendous job caring for our veterans.
And we know the needs are great for our veterans. Can people still go there today? What part of this facility was impacted? Give us the size and scope and how it impacts people who potentially had plans to go to the VA Center today.
Yeah, as of now, it's a separate facility, so I believe that it's still operating, but you would probably want to confirm any appointments before going there. And as I was mentioned, there is a traffic backup in the area. On a good day, the roads are a little busy there, so I would expect that it would be even more time-consuming, to get through that area at this time. So I would confirm, especially if it's a non-urgent visit. My guess would be that it would be best to put it off.
What else can you tell us? I would imagine you would be highly urging people to avoid that area if they can this morning and this afternoon as well.
Yes, I would say to allow the first responders to do their work and to, if at all possible, avoid going through that area.
Senator Maroney, it's our understanding the FBI is also assisting this morning in the investigation. Why is the FBI involved? Can you shed any light on that?
Unfortunately, I do not have any knowledge as to why they are investigating. Perhaps because it's a federal facility, but I can't. I don't have any definitive knowledge.
All right. Senator James Maroney from West Haven, also the co-chair of the state's Veterans Affairs Committee. We appreciate your time, and we'll probably be talking again at some point later today. Be safe. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, an explosion has been reported in a maintenance area at the VA in West Haven. As we've been telling you for the last 45 minutes or so, we know 2 people died in that explosion at 8:40 this morning. 1 person is missing. The VA secretary, that is per the VA secretary, the 2 people were killed, 1 missing. Neither of the victims are VA patients, and patient care is not impacted at this point. Connecticut State Police and the FBI have been called to the scene for assistance. Governor Ed Lamont is planning to head to the scene in West Haven later this afternoon. West Haven police, meantime, are asking people to avoid the area due to traffic concerns. Police say this is an isolated incident and there is no threat to the public. Stay with NBC Connecticut. We have several crews on the scene. Kyle Jones, Shannon Miller, other crews heading there. We will continue to bring you any new late-breaking information on this major breaking news story as it becomes available this morning and certainly later this afternoon on the news at 4. All right, on a lighter note, let's talk about the big weather changes in place. Check out the conditions in Hartford right now, Waterbury, New Haven as well. Let's get up to meteorologist Caitlin McGrath here with your first look forecast. Hi, Caitlin.
Hey, Kevin, we are ending the week on a dreary weather note. It is gray, cloudy, drizzly, and cool as you're stepping outside today. We'll give you another live look outside in Waterbury. You can see the low clouds and fog. Live first alert Doppler showing quite a bit of light rain moving across the state. That's the good news. No real heavy rain, really more of a nuisance rain covering much of Connecticut right now. You can see a few patches of drier conditions, but where it's not raining, it is still really overcast, really foggy, very limited visibility across parts of the state. Visibility down to just 1 mile through the Hartford area, 2 miles up into Windsor Locks. Patchy fog from Meriden down through Waterbury, New Haven, all along the shoreline. Really most of the state dealing with these foggy and cool conditions. Temperatures are only in the 40s right now. 41 degrees in Colebrook, 43 in Hartford, 47 the current temperature in Willimantic. We have the low 50s for Groton and Stonington, 47 the current temperature in New Haven, but really not getting much warmer as the day goes on. The good news is, I think later this afternoon, really more into this evening, we will start to clear skies out. The rain will move out, the clouds will clear, and we kick off a really nice looking weekend. We'll talk much more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, see you in a bit, Caitlin. Thanks. Just into the NBC Connecticut newsroom, UConn is putting more on-campus students under a quarantine. UConn sent out a letter to those living on campus at stores stating 5 more residence halls are under full quarantine because of COVID cases, and everyone else living on campus will be under a modified quarantine beginning at 5 o'clock tonight until November 21st. That means they'll have to follow all quarantine procedures, but they will be allowed to attend class in person. All on-campus students at UConn must take a COVID-19 test before leaving for Thanksgiving break. Right now, 100 Connecticut cities and towns are under a COVID-19 red alert. Look at that map. It tells a story. People in those communities are being urged to cancel events and limit trips outside their home. The state's testing positivity rate now stands at 4.8%. Hospitalizations from COVID increased by 33 people yesterday, with more than 24,000 tests reported. Well, check out this line for COVID-19 testing at the Connecticut Convention Center in Hartford. Some people say they waited in line for hours there. And at some Hartford healthcare testing sites, people without appointments were actually turned away. Hartford Healthcare says it still has enough capacity to administer thousands of tests every day. Well, Waterbury is the latest school system to move to online learning after the Thanksgiving holiday. The superintendent of Waterbury Schools says 3 middle schools and 4 high schools in Waterbury will switch from hybrid to full distance learning beginning Monday, November 30th. As of right now, in-person classes at those schools in Waterbury would resume in mid-January.
When we were looking at what's best for Waterbury moving forward, we anticipated what happens when college students are going to be returning. We anticipated what happens with the Thanksgiving holiday and what happens when people are going to want to spend time with their family.
Yeah, it's a very concern. I'd rather keep my son home and safe with me.
Students in elementary schools will continue with the current hybrid model in Waterbury. Well, Governor Lamont is encouraging people across Connecticut to opt in to a new COVID alert system that helps with contact tracing. NBC Connecticut's Jennifer Joa spoke with people about their willingness and their concerns.
You may have woken up to this notification on your phone this morning, prompting you to enable exposure notifications.
I woke up to the notification this morning and it was like, do you want to do it? I thought it was a really good idea, but then I was like, I don't know if it's an invasion of my privacy.
Bluetooth will determine when you're within 6 feet of someone else who opted in and if it's been at least 15 minutes. If you test positive in the future, you'll be asked to call a contact tracer.
They can then provide you with a code that you enter into your phone, and as soon as that code's entered, then it anonymously will notify anyone who you've had close contact with over the last 14 days with that anonymous notifications.
Officials say it won't reveal your identity or track your location, stressing it's completely anonymous and will never collect, transmit, or store your personal information.
If it's an anonymous thing, I think it's a good idea because then you won't know, and then you could just take the safety precautions to, get yourself tested.
Other people we spoke with were on board with it.
I would for sure be open because it's a concern around the nation, and it's for safety precautions. Absolutely.
While others still had privacy concerns.
I've got mixed feelings. On the one hand, I think it's a very smart idea to be able to identify who you've been in contact with. On the other hand, is be pretty obvious. The whole idea of being tracked is somewhat disturbing, and I'm not sure whether I'd be comfortable doing it.
Of course, it's only effective if a large population of people opt in. New York and New Jersey launched the program on October 1st. It was also already tested at colleges in Connecticut.
I think everyone should be involved and get it, so we know where we stand.
iPhone users can go to Settings, Exposure Notifications, and click through the prompts. For Android users, you'll need to download an app from Google Play and go from there. In Hartford, Jennifer Joas, NBC Connecticut News.
And we continue to follow that breaking news. An explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven. Here's what we know right now as you take a live look at the scene in West Haven. 2 people were killed in that blast that happened at 8:40 this morning or thereabouts in a maintenance area. We're told 1 person is believed to be missing as well. Again, it happened about 8:40 this morning. State and federal officials are on the scene. Governor Lamont is planning to head to the scene as well this afternoon. Police are asking you to avoid that area, but we're told patient care is not impacted at this point. Our crews are also gathering new information. We'll continue to bring you any new developments as they come into the NBC Connecticut newsroom on air and online all day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Live look right now at the weather conditions across parts of the State Farm. It's in Windsor Locks and New London. We're tracking showers today. Your first alert forecast is just ahead. Back now to that breaking news. 2 people are dead after an explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven this morning, according to a statement from the office of VA Secretary Robert Wilkie. NBC Connecticut's Kyle Jones live with new information on other possible injuries and what exactly happened. Kyle, what's the latest?
Yeah, Kevin, we have confirmed that there are 2 deaths here, and Governor Lamont's office says that 1 person is still missing. So I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see where the area of investigation is focused. It's just up that hill over to the left. There is a roped off area with lots of officials and vans and things like that working in that area by the smokestack. We have been told that CSP and the FBI are involved in this investigation. So just before 9 this morning, reports of an explosion started coming into our offices there, and the scene right here is to the left of the hospital. So the hospital is actually over to the right. So the scene is not close it's not really close to the hospital. So the hospital, we've been told, has not been impacted. Patient care has not been impacted. And those 2 people that are victims, we're told, were not we're learning more about them. We haven't been told much information about them, and Governor Lamont, as we said, has been saying that there is 1 person still missing. So that investigation is fluid. It is still underway, and we're waiting to learn more. We've been told that there's going to be a 2 p.m. press conference, and more information should come out then as we continue to gather more about what's happening here in West Haven. Kevin?
All right, Kyle, thanks for that live report from West Haven. Another vantage point, our team coverage continues now. Shannon Miller, she's also on the scene in West Haven. Shannon, what can you tell us? What have you found out in the last 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, Kevin, important to note that these 2 people who died in this explosion were not patients here at the VA hospital. Kyle just gave you a look at the maintenance area where that explosion occurred. So I want to show you again where it is in proximity to the hospital. Just to my left here, the main entrance of the VA hospital here in West Haven. This is a large facility that treats veterans from all across this part of the state. So just to the left here, behind that, where you start to see those red brick buildings again, is that maintenance area where you can see first responders still on scene here this morning. We know state and federal officials are responding to this explosion. And at this hour, we do know that 1 person, as Kyle just mentioned, is still missing. So what we're anticipating here the next several hours, in the next several hours, we are looking to hear more from the VA, exactly what happened here. A press conference set for 2 o'clock today. The governor also talking about what we're going to be learning more about in that news conference. Kevin, you mentioned VA Secretary Robert Wilkie putting out a statement this morning, letting folks know our prayers are with the victims of this explosion. Again, we are still waiting to learn more about these 2 individuals who were killed here this morning at the explosion here at the VA hospital in West Haven. 1 person is still missing, and Kevin will be working to gather more details here for you in the next several hours ahead of that news conference.
Shannon Miller, thanks for that live update from West Haven. Again, we'll continue to keep you abreast of this situation, this breaking news all day long here on NBC Connecticut and NBCConnecticut.com.
Now, NBC Connecticut's first alert weather. Connecticut's most accurate forecast, certified by Weather Rate.
Well, it's not the nicest end to the work week, but we will make up for it this weekend with plenty of sunshine. But for now, it is less than ideal outside. We'll give you a live look outside in New Haven. It's cloudy, dreary, and cool. You can see the water on the lens there, the clouds in the background. That's painting a good picture of what it's like if you have to be outside as we head through the next several hours. But then later on this evening, we'll start to clear skies out. But in the meantime, live first alert Doppler, not much change over the past several hours, just areas of drizzle and light scattered rain. That's the case across most of the state right now. Looks like some steadier rains falling up into portions of Litchfield Fairfield County. Most everyone getting some kind of rain or drizzle for now, but that will clear out as we head throughout the evening hours. The clouds will break apart and it ends up being a really nice weekend. And then we do bring some rain back into the forecast Sunday night, but the good news is it looks like it's going to be at night. Most of the day looks dry, and after that, we're into a dry stretch of quiet weather and cooler temperatures. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we do want to take you hour by hour through the changes over the next several days. Throughout the afternoon, we do have a few more hours to go with that rain and cool temperatures. We stay in the mid to upper 40s, a few low 50s along the shoreline for this afternoon. And then you can see later on this afternoon, this is 4 p.m., maybe a little bit of light rain still working its way through the eastern part of the state, but you look off to our west and we start to see some really nice clearing. That will be the trend throughout the evening. This is 7 p.m. If you are looking to get outside this evening, maybe go for a walk after work or eat outside under a heater because it will be cool, we will start to clear things out pretty nicely. And then overnight, under those clear skies, our temperatures will fall back into the 30s. If you haven't done so already, you might want to crank the heat on as we head through the exclusive 10-day forecast because we are talking about much cooler temperatures. Here we are tomorrow afternoon, really nice sunshine for Saturday, not much cloud cover with temperatures that will stay once again in the upper 40s and low 50s. And then Sunday, I think we increase the clouds pretty early on, not going to be as bright as Saturday, but also pretty dry until we do bring in that rain and some pretty gusty wind later Sunday night, but it looks to clear out really early on Monday. So that is great news as we look ahead to the upcoming work week. Here's a look at the 10-day forecast. You can see with the quiet weather next week, we also see much cooler temperatures. We could see temperatures fall back into the 40s, even upper 30s through the middle of the week. We'll be watching a cold front. That's going to bring our temperatures down so low. That also could trigger a few snow showers. So still ways away, but we'll keep an eye on that. No major weather systems working through next week, but maybe a little bit of drizzle, maybe a few snowflakes along with those abnormally cool temperatures. Here's a look at the shoreline, upper 40s for today, low 50s for Saturday. And then the shoreline gets a little bit warmer for Sunday, 60s, but still cloudy and mainly dry until the rain and wind kicks up later Sunday afternoon and evening. And the next week looking really nice and quiet, just cooler. Kevin, we'll send things back to you.
Caitlin, thanks. Up next, we continue to follow that breaking news. An explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven this morning. 2 people are now confirmed dead. We have new information next.
Well, dreary for the next couple of hours before things start to improve later on this evening. And then the weekend looks really nice. That's the good news. Saturday, really sunny, a little bit cooler. Temperatures still only in the low 50s. Sunday, temperatures will get a bit warmer, but it will be cloudier, but mainly dry until the evening. We'll bring in some rain and wind that will clear out by Monday, and next week looking really quiet. Kevin?
Caitlin, thanks. And we continue to follow that breaking news this morning. An explosion at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in West Haven. Here's what we know right now. 2 people are dead and 1 is believed to be missing. This is according to the governor's office. It happened in a maintenance building around 8:40 this morning. State and federal officials are on the scene, but patient care, we're told, is not impacted at this point. We will have continuing coverage on the NBC Connecticut app and NBCConnecticut.com. We'll also be back at noon on air with a breaking news update. Hope you can join us for that. And thank you for joining us this morning. Be sure to get the NBC Connecticut app for the latest news and weather information. I'm Kevin Nathan. We'll see you back here at noon for that update on what happened in West Haven. For now, though, let's join CT Live. That is next. Have a great day.